Hello. Hi. Thermal engineering subject study flow energy equation. The objectives on the completion of this lesson, you would be able to know steady flow energy equation SFEE. What is meant by thermodynamic process? When a system changes its state from one state to another state, then the path of successive states through which the system has passed, known as thermodynamic process. State is nothing but the condition of a system. Condition of a system. As the system passes from one state to another state, and that state to another state, if you draw a line that is called a path, the change of state from one state to another state is called thermodynamic process. Generally, the thermodynamic process are two types. One is flow process, another is non-flow process. Flow process, non-flow process. Flow process. The flow process may be classified as steady flow process, non-steady flow process. The flow process may be classified steady flow process, non-steady flow process. Now let us study about the steady flow process. A steady flow process is one in which the rate of the mass flow, the rate of the mass flow of the fluid is same at any section in the system. The rate of mass flow of the fluid is same at any section in the system. Here in this once again, so here you can see the steady flow process. As the steam is entering into the system, steam is entering into the system, and this will be the boundary, and this will be the fan, which will produce the power or the work. And here, by using this, we are going to add heat. So suppose a medium with a pressure of P1 and velocity volume V1 entering into the system, which will be heated, and this heat entered into the system will be some part will be converted into work by rotating this wheel, bladed wheel, and some part will be leaving the system at a pressure of P2 and volume V2. That means whatever the amount of mass of fluid entering into the system, the same amount will be leaving the system. That means as per the steady flow, the rate of mass flow of the fluid is same at all the sections. That means, say for example, rate of flow is say Q, or area into volume A1 V1. That means volume 1 area into volume 1 is equal to area 1 area 2 into volume 2. That means area into volume sorry, area into velocity uh, is the volume of fluid entering into the system is same as the volume of fluid leaving the system. That means area into velocity, as I told you, volume, area into volume, that's wrong. Sorry for this. Here in this case, area into velocity entering into the system, that is volume of fluid entering into the system is same as the volume of fluid leaving the system. That means area into velocity equal to constant. That is the steady flow process. That means rate of mass flow of the fluid is same at all the sections of the system. So that is the idea of steady flow process. Now let us see the steady flow energy equation. The steady flow energy equation. Steady flow energy equation consider an open system. Same as in the previous case, it is the open system. The mass of fluid entering into the system and some fluid is leaving the system by doing some external work. So here in this case, consider an open system through which working substance flow at steady rate. The working substance flow at steady rate. That means mass flow rate remains constant, right? So the working substance enter the system at section 1 and leaves the system at section 2 as shown in figure. So here you can see here the mass flow rate at this section is same as the mass flow rate at this section. That means the steam or the fluid entering into the system and at certain point leaving the system. This is the open system. The fluid is entering into the system at one place and leaving the system at the another place. This will be the system. And here in this case, we are going to add heat, and some part of heat is converted into work, and some part of heat is leaving the system. That means heat rejected. So this is the open system. That means here in this case, there is a flow of energy taking place into the system and out of the system, and also mass also taking place into the system or out of the system. That is the open system. In open system, both mass and energy crosses the boundaries. Whereas in case of closed system, only energy crosses the boundaries to the surroundings, whereas there is no mass transfer takes place. If it is the isolated system, there is no interaction with the outside surroundings by the system. That means there is no mass flow rate, mass flow of the fluid, or there is no energy flow to the outside or into the system. So here it is the open system, as the some mass of fluid is entering into the system and some mass of fluid is leaving the system, and energy in form of heat is entering into the system, and energy in the form of work is leaving the system. So here is the datum head. This is the datum head. We can call it as potential energy. At this section 1 and section 2, this is the datum head. We can call it as potential energy at section 2. So steady flow energy equation. Here in this case, there are some assumptions are there. Assumptions made in steady flow energy equation. Number 1, mass flowing through the system remains constant. Mass flowing through the system remains constant. That means mass entering into the system and mass leaving the system is same. Number 1 assumption. And there is no chemical reaction takes place. Second assumption, no chemical reaction. And third assumption, The state of fluid at any point remains constant. The state of fluid at any point remains constant with time. The rate of heat and rate of work passing through boundary of system remains constant. The rate of heat and the rate of work passing through the boundary of the system remains constant. And the fluid is uniform in composition. Fluid is uniform in composition. So these are the assumptions made in steady flow energy equation. Number one, mass flow rate remains constant. No chemical reaction takes place. State of the fluid at any point remains constant with the time, and the rate of heat and rate of work passing through a boundary of the system remains constant. Fluid is uniform in composition. Right? These are the assumptions made for deriving steady flow energy equation. Right? Now let us go to the let P1 be the pressure of the working substance entering into the system at point 1 in Newton per meter square, and V1 be the specific volume. V1 be the specific volume of the working substance entering into the system in meter cube per kg, and V1 be the velocity of the working substance entering into the system in meters per second at section 1:1, and U2 will be the specific internal energy of the working substance entering into the system at section 1:1 in joule per kg. P is the pressure, V1, small v1 will be the specific volume, capital V1 will be the velocity, and U will be the specific internal energy of the substance entering into the system. And H is the specific enthalpy of the working substance entering into the system at section 1:1 in joule per kg. And Z1, height above datum level at inlet in meters. Height above datum level, that is called datum head, we can say, at inlet in meters. And Q1 to 2 is the heat supplied to the system. Q1 to 2 equal to heat supplied to the system in joule per second. And W will be the work. W1 to 2 is the work done by the system. Work done by the system in joule per second. And G will be the acceleration due to gravity in meters per second square. So P, pressure, small v, specific volume, capital V, velocity, and then U, specific inlet internal energy, and H, specific enthalpy, H, height above the datum level, Q1 to 2 heat supplied to the system, and Q1 to W1 to 2 work done by the system, and G is the acceleration due to gravity. And then similarly, all the above with the one subscript at 1:1, section 1:1 are the different notations. Whereas similarly, P2, V2, capital V2, U2, H2, Z2 are the corresponding values for the working substance leaving the system. That means P2 will be the pressure of the working substance at 2:2, and V2 will be the specific volume of the working substance at section 2:2. And capital V2 will be the velocity of the working substance at 2:2, and U2 will be the specific internal energy at section 2:2, and H2 will be the specific enthalpy of the working substance at section 2:2, and similarly Z2 will be the height above the datum level at the outlet or in meters. These are the different values. So let us move to the derivation. Consider 1 kg mass of working substance per second. Consider 1 kg. That means unit mass. All the notations are in per kg. That means specific volume and specific internal energy, specific enthalpy, etc. are there. So consider 1 kg of mass of working substance per second. The total energy entering the system per kg of the working substance is equal to, say, E1. That means total energy entering into the system per kg of the working substance is equal to internal energy plus flow energy or displacement energy plus kinetic energy plus potential energy and heat supply. Once again, the total energy entering into the system is number one, internal energy and displacement or flow energy, kinetic energy, potential energy and heat supply. That means heat is also entering into the system, right? So here in this case, internal energy is equal to mass into specific internal energy. That will give you the internal energy entering into the system, and P1 small v1 will be the flow work or displacement work entering into the system, plus kinetic energy is mv square by 2g generally. That is here the g is avoided, that's why. So mv1 square by 2 plus gz1, that is the potential energy. This is the internal energy, and this is the flow work or flow energy. This is the kinetic energy, and this will be the potential energy, plus heat supplied plus is equal to 1 to q1 to 2, that is joules per second. Similarly, total energy leaving the system per kg of the substance. The above E1 is the total energy entering at section 1,1 into the system, whereas the E2 will be the total energy leaving at the section 2,2 or leaving the system per kg of substance. So E2 is equal to, similarly, this will be the internal energy leaving the system, and this is the flow work leaving the system, and this is the kinetic energy leaving the system, and this is the potential energy leaving the system. Whereas in the previous case, heat is entered into the system, whereas now work is done by the system on the surroundings. That's why heat is positive. So W1 to 2, right? So this is the total energy entering the system, whereas this is the total energy leaving the system per kg of working substance. So according to the first law of thermodynamics, as per the law of conservation of energy, total energy entering into the system must be equal to the total energy leaving the system. That means energy, as per the law of conservation of energy, energy neither be created nor destroyed, but can be converted into one form to another form. So we are not going to destroy the energy after entering the system, but that will be converted into another form. That means entering energy is potential energy, internal energy, flow energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, and also entering in the form of heat, and total energy entering the system. Whereas similarly, that will be converted into another form like internal energy leaving the system, flow energy leaving the system, potential energy leaving the system, kinetic energy leaving the system, and also work leaving the system to the surroundings. That means work done by the system. So that means simply, as per the first law of thermodynamics or law of conservation of energy, energy neither be created nor destroyed, but but only that can be transformed from one form to the another form. So here the total energy entering the system should be always equal to total energy leaving the system. That's why E1, small e1 should be equal to E2. Small e1 should be equal to E2. So m into u1 plus p1 v1 plus v2 square by 2 plus g z1 plus q1 to 2 must be equal to m u2 plus p2 v2 plus v2 square by 2 plus gz2 plus work done by the system. So above equation may also be written as, since H is equal to U plus P, that means enthalpy is also one of the definition is enthalpy is the sum of internal energy and the product of pressure and volume, or we can also define like this: enthalpy is the sum of internal energy and the flow work. So that's why we can replace these two terms by means of small h. So that's why this can be written also written as m into h1 plus v1 square by 2 plus gz1 plus q1 to 2 equal to mh2, which is u2 plus p2 v2 is h2 plus v2 square by 2 plus gz2 plus w1 to 2. This will be the equation. This will be the equation that you will get. So finally, the equation becomes Q122 minus W122 equal to M into H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G into Z2 minus Z1. This will be the steady flow energy equation. This will be the steady flow energy equation, as we must remember. Once again, Q122 minus W122 into M into H2 plus V2 square minus M into H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G into Z2 minus Z1 is this equation is known as steady flow energy equation, SFEE, right? This is the derivation for steady flow energy equation. Now let us have some of the example, one of the example for this steady flow energy equation. Let us see this example as we are having. So this is the problem. In a steady flow system, the fluid flows at the rate of 4 kg per second. That means 4 kg per second is nothing but the mass flow rate m value. And it enters at a velocity of 300 meters per second. That means enters at a velocity, that means entering velocity v1, and has enthalpy of 2330 kilojoule per kg at its entry. So this is h1. So it leaves the system at a velocity of, that means leaves the system, that means v2 is 150 meters per second, and its enthalpy at outlet is, it is at the inlet, whereas it is at the outlet 1656 kilojoule per kg. During its passage through the system, the fluid has a lots of heat transferred by 30 kilojoule per kg to the surroundings. Determine the power of the system in kilowatts. Neglect any change in the potential energy. neglect any change in that means this is the heat leaving the system to the surroundings. Now determine the power of the system in kilowatts. So here in this case, mass is given us and velocity at inlet given, enthalpy at the inlet is given, velocity at the outlet is given, and also enthalpy at the outlet is also given. And here heat leaving the system also given, and work. That means we have to determine the power of the system in kilowatts. That means if you are able to calculate the work done, then also you can calculate power of the system in kilowatts. So, but here one another thing is neglect the potential energy. That means potential energy will be 0. That means Z1 is also equal to Z2. So that is the ideal solution. Let us see this solution. Rate of flow m is equal to 4 kg per second, and inlet velocity v1 is equal to 300 meters per second. Inlet enthalpy at inlet h1 is equal to 2330 kilojoule per kg, and outlet velocity v2 is equal to 150 meters per second. Enthalpy at outlet h2 is equal to 1656 kilojoule per kg, and heat rejection Q122 is equal to minus 30 kilojoule per kg. So power required should be calculated by neglecting the potential energy. Let us substitute the previous formula studied for energy equation simply, that is Q122 minus W122 equal to M into U H1 plus V H1 minus H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 plus G into Z2 minus Z1, whereas Z1 is equal to Z2, that's why that will be neglected. The remaining formula will be taken into account. Then you can calculate the work done. So from steady flow energy equation, this is the steady flow energy equation. Q122 minus W122 equal to M into H2 minus H1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2. Whereas Z1 equal to Z2, that's why that is neglected. So this will be heat rejected. And H2 is there, H1 is there, V2 is also there, V1 is also there, and mass flow rate is also given to you. That's why you can calculate. So minus 30 minus W122 4 into 1656 minus 2330 plus 150 square minus 300 square by, as it is meters per second. So that's why this is taken as kilojoules. Sorry, enthalpy is in kilojoules. Let us convert this. So if you take this directly meters per second, you will get this as joules. But here enthalpy as well as heat transfer is in kilojoules. That's why we have to convert this into kilojoules. That's why we have taken 1000. 1000 need to convert joules to kilojoules. So after substitution of all the values and after simplification, we got W is equal to W122 is equal to 22711. That means 2711 kilojoule per second. Whereas kilojoule per second is nothing but the kilowatts. So the power of the system is equal to positive. This will be the positive. P is equal to power transmitted or power done, work done by the system or power transmitted by the system to the surroundings is W is equal to 2711 kilowatts of power. Power of the system is the this much. So right, this is the problem that you can solve. This type of problem, steady flow energy equation. Next is summary of this lesson. So in this summary, we have discussed what is the process. Also, we have discussed it. And in this process, steady flow, what are the types of process are there? Non-flow process and steady flow process and flow process. Steady flow process and non-flow process are there. We have discussed about the steady flow process. In steady flow process, we have discussed about steady flow energy equation. For steady flow energy equation, We have completed assumptions. We have completed the derivation for this of steady flow energy equation. So we have discussed about types of thermodynamic process, flow process, and steady flow process. Also we completed steady flow energy equation. Also we completed, and assumptions made in the derivation of steady flow energy equation. Also we completed so far, right? So let us have a small quiz on this lesson. In a steady flow process, the heat transfer rate is constant. The work transfer rate is constant. The mass flow rate is constant. All the above, which is the right answer. In a steady flow process, heat transfer rate is constant. Work transfer rate is constant. Mass flow rate is constant. All the above is the answer. Which one is either A, B, C, or D? Which is the right answer in this? So let us see the answer. Mass flow rate is constant, as we already discussed, and we have already, I told you, the mass flow rate is constant. That is in a steady flow process. In a steady flow, the mass flow rate is constant. That is A1 area at section 1,1 and velocity at 1,1 should be equal to the area at 2,2 and the velocity at 2,2 is constant. That is mass flow rate is constant. That is called continuity equation. That is called continuity equation, right? The rate of flow, mass flow rate of fluid, the rate of mass flow of the fluid is of a working substance is constant. That is called steady flow and continuity equation. So in steady flow process, mass flow rate is constant. Next is the steady flow process occurs in open system, closed system, both open and closed system. None of the above, which is the right answer. In a steady flow process, generally the mass flow rate should be there and energy flow should be there. Energy entering into the system must be equal to the energy leaving the system, number one. And in steady flow process, mass of the fluid entering into the system must be also equal to leaving the system. Let us see. So the open system is the right answer. Let us have. So the steady flow process occurs in open system because in closed system there is no mass flow rate into or out of the system, right? So that's why open system is the right answer in this quiz question. Now let us have the assignment. In a steady flow open system, a fluid substance flows at the rate of 4 kg per second. That is mass of the system. It is mass flow rate of the system. It enters the system at a pressure of 60 kilonewton per meter square at a velocity of 220 meters per second. Internal energy of 2200 kilojoule per kg, and specific volume of 0.42 meter cube per kg, and it leaves the system. These are the notations of the values at the entry of the system. That means pressure is given to you, velocity is given to you, internal energy is given to you, and also specific volume is also given to you. And it leaves the system at a pressure of 150 kilonewton per meter square, a velocity of 145 meters per second, and internal energy of 1650 kilojoule per kg, and specific volume of 1.5 meter cube per kg. These are the values at the exit of the system. During its passage through the system, the substances may lose by heat transfer of 40 kilojoule per kg to the of the surroundings. So that means there is a heat loss, there is a negative heat that is not entering into the system but it is leaving the system. Determine the power of the system, determine the power of the system, study whether it is from or to the system. Neglect any change of gravitation potential energy. Gravitational potential, that means Z1 is equal to Z2, that's why potential energy will be negligible. And now here we have to determine the power transmission, and that power transmission whether entering into the system or leaving the system also I have to decide. So here in this case, by using steady flow energy equation, we can have the power value and also its positivity and negative. Very simple. That is simply Q122 minus W122 equal to M into U, M into U2 minus U1 plus P2 V2 minus P1 V1 plus V2 square minus V1 square by 2 should be the steady flow energy equation by neglecting the potential energy, and Q should be negative, and remaining all values if you substitute you will get the work done. That work done itself is nothing but in kilojoule per second. That will be the power, whether if it is positive it will be work done on the system, sorry, work done by the system. If it is the negative, it is the work done on the system. Work done by the system, if it is the positive, work done by the system. If it is the negative, work done on the system. So like this you can solve this problem or this assignment very easily without any difficulty, right? So thank you for patient hearing of this lesson. Thank you to